Right, guys. How are you doing? So this is episode 5 of liquidity, right? Episode 5 of liquidity class, right? So the title of this one is actually a broken clock and a broken forex strategy, right? So why do I call it a broken clock and a broken forex strategy, right? If you think about it deeply, as a retail trader, we have so many concepts that we trade. We have support and resistance. We have, breakout traders. We have people that trade with fibs, people that trade with chart patterns. I'm talking about head and shoulder pattern, double top, double bottom, flag pattern. We have those ones. We have SMC traders. All of this strategy as a whole. But if you think about if you are an experienced trader, or you have, even if it's just a little bit of experience, you've lost money in the forex market. You and I know for sure that all this strategy, they don't work most of the time. They only work a handful of the time, right? And the reason is what I'm going to be explaining. First off, I'll explain the reason, and second of all, I would now show you, you know, how these people operate, right? I'll show you why it doesn't work, right? Why it doesn't work all the time, right? Why it doesn't work all the time. I'm going to show you, right? So, when you think about it, for example, uh, when you think about a broken clock, let's say you have a clock that stops working at 6 a.m., for example. This clock is going to be right twice a day, right? But it's going to be wrong the remaining 22 hours of the day. But it's going to be right by 6 a.m. It's going to be right by 6 p.m., right? Especially if it's a rounded clock like this, right? So, but the fact that, all right, your clock is going to, the clock is going to work to by every 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. of the day, right? But what about the rest of the day? It's not going to work. And the reason it's not going to work is because it is wrong. The strategy doesn't work, right? So it's same with forex, with the forex market concept, the retail concept that we all trade, right? The reason why it doesn't work all the time is because it doesn't work, and the reason why it works sometimes is just because of correlation. Like, it's not because it works, it's just because of correlation. And also, if you think about it, if a strategy doesn't work all the time, do you think anybody is going to use it? Do you think anyone is going to trade if some people are not making money, or if you don't make money at certain points in the forex market? Nobody is going to trade, right? So a game has to be interesting if there are some, if you are able to win at some time, like at least some time, right? Which is why the forex market is like that, whereby you have support and resistance work sometimes, whereby trend line works sometimes, head and shoulder pattern, it works sometimes, doji, all these things, all these concepts, they work sometimes, but they don't work every time. Now, why is it that they don't work, right? This is the major question. Why is it that they don't work? So I'm going to make you understand perfectly why now. The forex market is just like every other market. For example, if you're trying to buy, let's say we are trying to buy 10 units of bags, right? We're trying to buy 10 units of, let's say 10 units of bag in the market. There has to be someone at the other side of the market, right, that would want to sell 10 units of bags, right? That will be willing to sell 10 units of bags right? So our, what is it called, our goal can be met. There has to be someone at the other side of the market that wants to do that. Now, if everybody is buying a pair, who is going to who are we going to buy the pair from? Or if, like, if everybody is buying Euro USD, for example, who is going to be selling that Euro USD, right? And who is going to be at the other side selling that Euro USD? So let me make you understand this perfectly. Let's say we have like 100 units of, let's say, the, what's it called, the, the people that controls the market, the people that dominates the market, like the JP banks, the big banks, the, Deutsche Bank, all of these banks. Let's say they want to buy 100 units of Euro USD, right? And they want to buy when you also want to buy. Who is going to sell to them? Think about it. Who is going to sell to them? They want to make profits, you want to make profits, but everybody cannot make profits. Someone has to lose so someone can so someone can make money. And we live in a predatory world. I mean, when I say predatory, I mean predatory world, right? We live in a world where the people that have the power, they consume the people that don't have the power. The people that have the information, they prey on the people that don't have the information. The people, lion eats goats, hunts deers and all of that. The powerful consumes the powerless. It is the same with the forex markets. It is the same everywhere, right? Your government, they're trying to prey on you with taxes, with everything, right? So it is the same all around. So forex markets is not left out, right? There has to be someone who is losing, and the people that have the power, they have the money, the fund, are not going to lose. So they have to, it's not like they are interested in your money, but they have to buy where you are selling, right? So which is why you get on a trade and it stopped you out, and after it stopped you out, you see the market going to your direction, like with massive aggression, like with those big candles, right? So if JP Morgan wants to buy 100 units of Euro USD, for example, there has to be someone at the other end that wants to sell 100 units. 1,000. If JP Morgan wants to buy 1,000 units of Euro USD, there has to be someone at the other end of the market that is willing to sell 100 units of Euro USD to JP Morgan, right? And for that to happen, the people that control the market, JP Morgans, they have to engineer price in a way that they take out the early buyers, right, of Euro USD. So this is how it works. So when you exit the market, when you exit the Euro USD buy trade, you becomes a seller, because you bought a trade initially, you bought the Euro USD initially. So as you're exiting the market, you're exiting the market as a seller. So automatically you create more, what's it called? You create more. You get on the seller side. You get to the other end of the market, which is what? The seller, right? So you create more availability of the buy order. You create more availability of the buy order for the big players to actually to buy. So, and that's like the essence of this whole liquidity grab thing. The essence is just to create hot buy orders, to have enough sellers that wants to sell the amount of the units of the, what's it called, of the particular trade they want to buy, right? So they are trying to buy 1,000 units of Euro USD buy. In this case, they are going to try as much as possible to engineer price to make it to induce sellers and also like trap early buyers, because they have to also induce sellers. So once you induce sellers, it means there are lots of people that wants to sell. Once you also trap buyers, it means the people that that bought early and that left the market in loss, they became sellers. So they are automatically getting people to sell at the end of the day, and they get to buy, which is what they want to do. So which is why when you see a particular trade happens whereby you get you get the direction right, you're like very very right about the direction, but markets just ends up taking you out, right? The market just ends up taking you out and go into your direction at the end of the day, but you are sad because first off you've lost money, and second of all you were not part of the move that happened, and you're like, oh, and I predicted this thing right, I was right about the direction, but you were not right about the entry. So that's one thing that liquidity does for you. So I want to show you some of the few because I want to show you some of the few traps that they sell, that is because they have to, for them to create trap, they have to use what against you. They have to use what against you. And what does retail concepts, like what does retail traders know? We know SMC, we know that this is a demand zone, this is the right place to buy, right? For SMC traders, we also know that, sorry, we also know that for head and shoulder pattern trader, we know that this is the right place to sell, right? And your stop losses is here. So what do? They take you out and they go to the original direction. For this SMC, I didn't show the SMC part very well. For the SMC, this is a buy trade. You can see is a demand zone. Your stop losses is actually resting below here. So once you buy from here, you see a little reaction, you're like, oh, you're in profits, and what happens? Boom, takes you out and go to the original direction. So the same thing for, what's it called, people that trade support and resistance. I'm coming. People that trade support and resistance. So this is support, right? It induces sellers, people that wants to sell, they get people that wants to sell here, and what happens? Boom. So it takes out buyers here, it also takes out sellers here, right? Breakout trader, and also people that like wait for that kind of, they wait for retest to sell, right? So this is just the thing they do on a regular basis. So like there are so many what's the word, there are so many ways they like engineer price, right? There are so many concepts basically, right? Every concept that retailers trade, they engineer liquidity with those concepts, right? Because they know the obvious places we are buying from. Aside from that, they also have the other books, like they are liquidity provider, they provide liquidity for the brokers that you use, so they know where you are buying from, you get. So our own advantage is the fact that we understand that, oh yeah, we know the time, because I wouldn't want this thing to be much though, so I just want to like explain the where retailers, why your stop losses get haunted, and I think you already know why, and where it get haunted at, right? So it is always your stop losses. Where are your stop losses when you are taking a buy from the demand zone? Of course, right below the demand zone. What of the supply zone? Of course, right above the supply zone. What of the what's it called, the support and resistance, of course, right below support and resistance, right? So once they have enough order of enough available order for the purchase they want to make, then they go to the original direction and they do that aggressively. You always see that aggressiveness in the price movement, like, oh yes, this is the price. You know that, oh, the only people that can make markets move like this are the big players of the forex market. So yeah, I'll make this, like, I just try to make this short so you can quickly just learn this and have something to learn today, right? I hope you're having fun.